So let us start with that. Mechanism of nucleophilic substitution reactions. Okay, now this is also one of the important parts from where every year one question is always there. Okay, so you have to pay attention to it. Now, as I told you that nucleophilic means that the nucleophile is the attacking reagent is a nucleophile, either bearing a negative charge or it will have a lone pair of electron. Okay, substitution means it is substituting. Okay, now I also told you that substitution nucleophilic reactions are of two types, written as SN1 and SN2. Okay, SN1 and SN2. So SN1 and SN2. Substitution nucleophilic unimolecular, substitution nucleophilic bimolecular. So all the reactions which we had seen in the last class, they were either taking place by SN1 mechanism or they were taking place by SN2 mechanism. So what are these mechanisms? Now we will know one by one. So first we come to SN2 mechanism. Okay, whenever the mechanism of a nucleophilic substitution reaction is SN2, it takes place in this manner. This is a nucleophile, maybe having lone pair of electron or having negative charge. When such a nucleophile attacks these circles are actually hydrogen atoms and a halogen atom is attached. Okay. Now in case of SN2 mechanism, what will happen next to this? Nucleophile always attacks from the backside of the molecule. Backside means what? Where the halogen atom is attached, always opposite to that this nucleophile will attack. It will never attack from front side where this halogen atom is attached. In the next step, what is going to happen? This carbon here, these three bonds are going to change their position. 1, 2, 3. This bond becomes weak. This bond starts forming. Means neither this bond is completely separated nor this bond is completely formed. This is a 5-membered transition state. This is known as 5-member transition state. It is an unstable species. It is formed for very less time, but it will be formed when the mechanism is SN2. In the next step, what is going to happen? This bond is completely going to be separated and this bond is completely going to be formed. But when this will separate and this will form, the rotation of the molecule will change. In the beginning, it was on the left side, then it came in the middle, and when the product will be formed, it will go to the right side. Carbon. These three bonds will shift like this, 1, 2 and 3, a new bond with this. This is final product. That means in SN2 mechanism, total inversion of the molecule takes place. The groups were on the left hand sides, halogen was on the right hand side, then intermediate is formed, which is a 5-member transition state. And in product, these atoms have come to the right side and instead of halogen, the new nucleophile has come on the left side. So this is complete inversion. This is known as inversion of molecule, also known as Walden inversion. Okay, so this is Walden inversion. Now, why it is substitution nucleophilic, it is clear, but why it is bimolecular too? Because in the first step which is taking place, both the concentration of this and nucleophile affects the rate of reaction, because both of them are at the same time are involved in the process of product formation. That is why it is known as SN2 mechanism. Concentration of both is going to affect the rate of reaction. Okay. Now, because it is SN2 mechanism and always nucleophile is going to attack from the backside of the molecule, then now we specify it. Instead of these circles, now I am going to write here H, H and H. Any nucleophile we can take, OH negative, halogen we specify, let it be Cl. Now what we see, if these groups are H, H and H, that means this is 1 degree. When the carbon atom is attached only to hydrogens or to one carbon atom, then it is known as 1 degree. When the condition is such, then in that case, because OH has to attack from the backside of the molecule, so these molecules and these atoms are small in size. So the attack of the nucleophile from the backside will be easier, because it will get lot of space here to join with the molecule in the transition state. Like this. This is OH, this is Cl, these are H, H and H, and finally in the product and OH. Okay. So smaller is the molecule, or you can say less bulkier is the molecule, more easy is the SN2 mechanism. That means if it is 1 degree, it is easy for the nucleophile to attack. Suppose this molecule is having CH3 group here, then still it is 1 degree, because the carbon atom which bears a halogen is attached only to one another carbon atom. Still it is 1 degree, but as compared to CH3Cl, now the attack will be little difficult, because this group is a big group, so it will occupy more space, so attack will be little difficult, but it will be fast. Another condition that one more H is occupied by CH3 group, then this carbon atom becomes 2 degree. Okay, when this is 2 degree, the attack has become more difficult as compared to 1 degree. Suppose this H again is one more CH3. Now this carbon atom has become 3 degree. Now the attack is not possible, because these all groups, actually we are seeing them in condensed form. If we spread them also like this, C, H here, H here, H here, this will also open up, this will also open up, then no space is left for backside attack. Hence for 3 degree it is impossible to have SN2 mechanism. So which mechanism will take place will depend on the nature of the molecule, on which molecule the reaction actually is taking place. So the order of SN2 reactions is 1 degree, more than 2 degree, more than 3 degree. This is the order for SN2 reactions. Clear? Now what else, what other factor is there which affects SN1 or SN2? One effect is this degree of the carbon atom. 1 degree will be fastest, then 2 degree, then 3 degree. Second factor which is responsible is solvent. Though not. Now solvent effect, if a protic solvent is there. Protic solvent means any solvent which gives a proton, like water. HOH is a protic solvent because it gives H positive. Okay, so whenever protic solvent is there, it will slow down SN2 reaction, because reactions take place in some solvent. Either the solvent will be protic or it will be aprotic, does not give hydrogen H positive ion. So if protic solvent is there, it will slow down the process of SN2 mechanism, but it is not very important factor. Only you have to focus on this, very important, because every year there is a question on this order: 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree for SN2, and then next will come for SN1 also. This is just to know, but this is to understand very properly. That solvent will slow down SN2 reaction because of H bonding with the nucleophile. The nucleophile forms H bond, and because of that nucleophile is not able to react with the 1 degree or 2 degree alkyl halide molecule. Okay, so this is about SN2 mechanism. So we can say in a sentence that SN2 reactions proceed with inversion of molecule. Okay, because the molecule totally gets inverted when the product is formed. Okay, now SN1 mechanism. Second mechanism means if substitution reaction is taking place, it will either take by SN2 or SN1. What happens in SN1? Same thing is there. There will be one nucleophile which will attack on, either we write H or we make circles here. Okay. Then halogen atom. Now in case of SN1 reaction, these two will not react with each other in first step. In first step, what will happen? Under the influence of this, definitely this molecule will separate into this is step number 1. That first, this alkyl halide molecule will split into carbocation, because C has positive charge, so it is carbocation. Now because only 3 bonds are there, we have to correct them. They will be arranged in a different way. Previously they were on one side, now they will be arranged like this. When it was having C 3 bonds and 4th bond here, the hybridization on carbon atom was sp3. We know that when carbon is attached with all the single bonds, then the hybridization on carbon is sp3. But when this carbon atom leaves this X negative and it is left with 3 bonds and 1 positive charge, then the hybridization becomes sp2, not sp3. Still all bonds are single, but because of this cation, it becomes sp2 hybridized. Whenever sp2 hybridization is there, geometry is planar. This will be a planar geometry. We know that geometry is planar. Okay. Now X is separated. This is first step. That means in first step there was no role of nucleophile. Role was this much only, that under the effect of nucleophile, this molecule has broken. The concentration of nucleophile has no effect on the first step of reaction. Hence, because the presence of only this is affecting, the concentration of only this is affecting the rate of reaction. Hence, this reaction is substitution nucleophilic unimolecular. How much amount of this is present in the first step, it does not affect the rate of reaction. That is why it is substitution nucleophilic unimolecular. Now this one step is over. Now in the next step, what is going to happen? That this planar carbocation which is formed, now on this nucleophile is going to attack and the product will be formed. Okay, this you have done. Now there are two possibilities, because this molecule is a planar molecule. Planar, you are seeing it on board like this. Now if molecule is like this, suppose the planar which you are seeing here, you just turn the molecule like this. Now this molecule can have bond from this side also and can have bond from this side also. Okay, that means it can have bond this side also and it can have bond opposite side also. That means there are two possibilities of formation of bond. Now if two possibilities are there, how will be the product? Let us see. If these three bonds shift on this side, the nucleophile will attack here, or there is a possibility that these bonds shift here when the fourth bond is formed. Till the bond number is 3, they all will be planar, but whenever fourth bond will be formed, the geometry becomes tetrahedral, and when tetrahedral geometry is there, in that case 3 bonds will form the 3 foot of a triangle, and then the fourth bond is above the plane. The same is happening here. They all have to shift one side and fourth bond will be formed in other direction. Okay. Now if this is the product, then original reactant was how? Reactant was also like this. Halogen was on the right hand side. In product also nucleophile has got attached on the right hand side. So this is known as retention. जैसा था वैसा ही है. This is known as retention of configuration. But there are chances that the molecule which is getting attached may attach from other side also, because the molecule is uniform, planar. From anywhere the nucleophile can attack. If this is the product, then in the original molecule the chlorine or halogen was on the right. Now in the product the nucleophile is on the left. So this is known as inversion, just like SN2, inversion of configuration. So in case of SN1 reaction, product has both possibilities. Either it will be retention of configuration or it will be inversion of configuration. Okay. So you can say that a normal SN1 reaction may proceed either by inversion of configuration or by retention of configuration, but SN2 reaction will always proceed by inversion of configuration. Okay. Now what factors affect SN1 reaction? In SN2 we have seen that 1 degree is faster than 2 degree is faster than 3 degree. In case of SN1 reaction, because we saw that carbocation is always formed in the first step, we saw like this. One carbocation was formed and then nucleophile was attacking in the next step on this carbocation. So carbocation, if we talk about the stability of carbocations, then always 3 degree carbocation is more stable than 2 degree, is more stable than 1 degree. Because of more hyperconjugation structures studied in class 11. More are the number of hyperconjugation structures possible, more is the stability. Because instead of H, if CH3 is here, then we will have more hyperconjugation structures, because of which the stability will be more for 3 degree, for 2 degree, and then least for 1 degree. So the order of reaction or reactivity is reverse in SN1. If a molecule, or you can say alkyl halide, is 3 degree, then it will be doing substitution reaction by SN1. And if a alkyl halide is 1 degree, it will do substitution always by SN2 mechanism. Okay. So this will help us to decide that whether this substitution reaction is taking place by SN1 mechanism or SN2 mechanism. In terms of solvent, we talk, then in case of SN2, I told that if solvent is a protic solvent, then the reaction will be slow. Opposite to it, if solvent is protic, then SN1 will be faster. Why? Because protic solvent means one which gives H positive ions will stabilize the reaction. because carbocations will be stabilized because of H positive present in the solvent. This solvent H positive will form hydrogen bonding and will cause the molecule to stabilize. More is the stability, more will be the ease of reaction. Okay, so in case of SN1, protic solvent make the reaction fast. In case of SN2, it makes the reaction slow. Again, I tell you that this factor is not very important factor to be remembered. Remember the sequence of the reaction. Now, along with this, for SN1, as we wrote that 3 degree faster than 2 degree, faster than 1 degree. Along with this, if carbocations like allylic C, H2 double bond C, H, CH2, Cl. This is a allyl chloride. If this is removed, then it will become a cation, carbocation. Okay. So if a allylic carbocation is there, whenever there is a carbocation which can be stabilized by hyperconjugation or by simple conjugation or by resonance, then in that case always its stability will be more as compared to 1 degree. 3 degree, 2 degree will be faster, but when we want to compare 1 degree, then from 1 degree this will be more reactive as compared to 1 degree. Why? Because this structure can be stabilized by conjugation. How? This double bond is here, it has positive charge, this double bond will shift here. The next conjugation structure will be CH2 positive, CH double bond, CH2. So whenever structures have their resonance structures or conjugation structures, always they are more stable, and more stable means faster SN1 reaction. So we can write 3 degree greater than 2 degree greater than allylic or benzylic also. Benzylic cation, then 1 degree will come at the end. Okay. As I explained for allylic, same will be for benzylic also. That benzylic carbocation is this, halogen is here. If I remove this halogen, sorry, CH2Cl, benzylic is this, directly attached is arylic. So double bond, double bond, double bond, CH2Cl. If I remove this, then it will convert into CH2 positive. Again it will be stabilized, this bond will shift here, and the next resonance structure will be positive charge here, double bond here, CH2, and remaining bonds as it is. Okay. Then again next structure, this bond will shift here, again positive charge here, like this. That we don't need. We only should understand that whenever there are resonance structures possible, they will be always more reactive for SN1 as compared to 1 degree. Not more than 3 degree and 2 degree, but more than 1 degree. Clear? This is about the reactivity of SN1 and SN2. What will be the order of various degrees of alkyl halides for these reactions. Now, this concept is clear? Yes, anyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we proceed to the next thing. That one very important next concept which I have to explain is chirality. Now what is chirality? This is a carbon atom. We know that carbon can make. This is a alkyl halide. Okay. Now, if one of the group is CH3 one of the group is C2H5. Now you can say that the carbon atom which is present in the center having halogen atom is attached to all the groups which are different. CH3 is here, H is here, C2H5 is here. Okay. Now that means all the 4 bonds which are attached to carbon atom are different. Then this carbon atom is known as asymmetric. Okay, this is asymmetric carbon atom. क्या
ऊपर हेडिंग पे लिखी हुई है ब्लू में
chirality, CHIRALITY, chiralities. Okay, that means we write it by showing a star mark. Carbon atom is asymmetric, or also you can say this carbon atom is a chiral carbon. What is the meaning of chiral carbon? If a carbon atom is attached to all groups different, all 4 bonds different, then it is known as chiral carbon. Means all the groups attached, maybe CH3, if it is C2H5, maybe we can have here C3H7, that doesn't matter. Or we can say that instead of H, here is CH3, maybe here C3H7. Then also all 4 groups are different. It doesn't matter what is attached, but whatever is attached, all 4 should be different. Then that carbon atom is an asymmetric carbon and also known as chiral carbon. Opposite to this, if a carbon atom is there, one is H, another is also H, this is CH3, this is Cl. In this carbon atom, we have 3 different groups, but these 2 groups are same. Now this carbon atom is not a asymmetric carbon atom, it is symmetric carbon. Okay, and it is known as achiral. One which is not chiral is achiral. And this phenomenon is very important in terms of organic chemistry. Okay, so this is chiral. We have to deal with chiral carbon. With achiral carbon, we don't have to do anything. No, it's all reaction will be normal reactions. Only when the carbon atom is chiral, that time what we have to see is something different. Okay. Now this is chiral carbon, asymmetric. Okay. After this, this is alphabet O, this is alphabet A, and this is alphabet M. If I see the mirror images of all these 3 alphabets, it will be like this. Inversion will take place, inversion will take place like this. That means if I have to superimpose the mirror images of these alphabets, they will be superimposed easily. If I make more alphabet, let us make P. The mirror image of P will be this, like this. Now I have to superimpose these images. How we have to do superimposition? Not like this, that we have to pick it and superimpose. No. Superimposing means we pick the molecule from its place and we keep on this. So if we pick A and put on this, then this will be superimposed. O also pick from here, put on this, superimpose. M also superimpose, but P pick from here and superimpose, it will not be superimposed. That means these molecules are symmetrical molecules. Okay? These molecules are symmetrical molecules. So when molecules are symmetrical, they are superimposable on their mirror images. But when the molecule is asymmetric, like this, chiral, asymmetric, we had written just before, chiral carbon means asymmetric, then in that case it is not superimposable on its mirror image. Rest all were able to be superimposed. Okay, so whenever the molecules are asymmetric, they are not superimposable on their mirror images. Okay, so the same will apply on carbon atom also. that if the molecule is chiral, that means it has 4 bonds which are all different, Cl, H, CH3 and C2H5, then this is not superimposable on its mirror image. Okay, this is the mirror image, and this molecule will not be superimposed on this molecule which is the mirror image of the same molecule. All 4 bonds are same, but the position of the bonds in the image are different. Such a pair of molecules which are chiral and they are non-superimposable mirror images are known as enantiomers. These are known as enantiomers, and it is a type of isomerism which is known as enantiomerism. It is important. Okay, you all have to understand it very well. Enantiomers, these are enantiomers, and the phenomenon of isomerism of this type is known as enantiomerism. And what is enantiomerism? Such a pair of molecules which are non-superimposable mirror images, they are known as enantiomers, and this type of isomerism is enantiomerism. Okay, now the carbon atoms which are chiral. Chiral means all 4 groups different attached on the carbon atom. They show one more type of isomerism which is optical isomerism. Means enantiomers show optical isomerism. Okay, now because these 4 bonds are same, what is optical isomerism? Optical isomerism is the property of a molecule to rotate the incoming light into either right direction or left direction. If it rotates the light in direction right, it is known as dextrorotatory, and if it rotates in the left direction, then it is known as levorotatory. We have learned little introduction of optical isomerism in 11th also. Okay, so if these 2 molecules are same, only they differ in the location of the position of the bonds because they are mirror images. So if this particular molecule rotates light in right direction, and then the other image of it, other enantiomer of it will rotate the light in left direction. So right one, if it will be known as dextrorotatory, then this one will be known as levorotatory. So always enantiomers. First condition for being an enantiomer, that all 4 bonds should be different. If these are not different, there is no question of enantiomerism. Bonds should be different, they should be non-superimposable mirror images. Okay? When they are, yes?
Ma'am, what is written like dextrorotatory?
Dextro. D-E-X-T-R-O. Dextrorotatory. Okay? So 2 conditions are fulfilled. Then after this, they will show optical isomerism. If one of them is showing dextrorotation, the other will show levorotation. We don't know that this one is showing or this one. But we have decided from our own side that if this is rotating light in right, then this will rotate in left. It may also happen this may rotate the light in right, then this will rotate it in left direction. This is actually optical isomerism. Okay. ठीक है. Okay, now if we take a ray of light, for a ray, we are taking a ray of light. You know that light has vibration in all directions. Now, all directions there will be vibrations taking place. When we allow such a light to pass through a special prism known as Nicol prism, okay, then this converts the vibrations of the light only in one direction. The light which comes out of the Nicol prism has now vibration in only one direction. Okay, so when we are taking a monochromatic light, a light has only one color that we are taking. Okay, we are not taking the light which has all 7 colors. So monochromatic light we are taking, and then because light has vibrations in all directions, then we are allowing it to pass through Nicol prism. Now it has vibration only in one direction. When such a light is allowed to pass through a solution, okay, and what is this solution? A solution of chiral substance. Chiral substance means such a carbon atom having all 4 bonds different. So either when the light will pass through this solution and it comes out of it, then either the light will be bent towards the left or the light will be bent towards the right. This phenomenon is known as optical isomerism. Now see, the solution of chiral substance is taken here. Now if this chiral substance is having 50-50% both, which both enantiomers, 50% of the one part and 50% of the other type of isomer, which were enantiomers of each other, means mirror images of each other. Then what will happen? 50% of the molecules will rotate the light in left and 50% will rotate it in the right direction. Then the net effect of the two will be that light will pass unaffected. Neither it will be bent towards left nor it will be bent towards right, because this one has bent it in the left, then again the 50% will bend it in the right direction, again it will come straight. Is it clear? So there is no optical isomerism visible when 50-50% solution of a chiral substance taken. This is known as racemization. This phenomenon is known as racemization. Okay, and this mixture which we have prepared is known as racemic mixture. This mixture is a racemic mixture and the process is racemization. So when we want the light not to deflect in any direction because of chiral molecules, then what we take? We take 50-50% solution of both and we convert it into a racemic mixture, and then there is no deflection of the light.